Long ago, in a quiet village surrounded by tall iroko and palm trees, there lived a clever but troublesome animal named Tortoise. Everyone knew him for his cunning ways, and although he was small, his tricks were mighty enough to cause trouble for the whole village. One year, a terrible drought struck the land. Rivers dried up until they became dusty paths, crops withered on their stems, and even the sky looked tired and pale. The villagers gathered in worry because their wells were empty, and their farms were dying. The elders remembered an ancient legend. Deep inside the forest lived a magical drum, spirit drum, which could bring rain when beaten with a pure and honest heart. No one dared to enter the forest where the spirits roamed, but Tortoise, wanting to make a name for himself, stepped forward proudly. He told the villagers, "I will bring the drum. Leave it to me." The villagers had their doubts, but with no other choice, they allowed him to go. Tortoise set out the next morning, moving slowly but confidently into the thick forest. He walked past giant trees and strange animal tracks until he finally reached a glowing drum resting on a smooth stone. Just as he stretched his hand to touch it, a deep voice thundered, "Who seeks my drum?" Tortoise's heart nearly jumped out of his shell, but he quickly composed himself and replied, "It is I, Tortoise. My people are suffering. Please allow me to take the drum so that rain may fall." A tall forest spirit appeared, shining like the moon on water, and said, "You may take it, but remember this, the drum answers only a pure heart. Beat it with selfish intentions, and you will receive trouble instead of rain." Tortoise bowed and promised to use it wisely, but in his heart he was already dreaming of praise, gifts, and admiration. On his way back to the village, hunger struck him. He passed a small farm and thought to himself, "If I make rain fall here, the farmer will reward me with food." He beat the drum, expecting clouds to gather. Instead, a swarm of angry bees burst out of the drum and chased him until he dove into a muddy puddle. Covered in mud and stings, he tried again at another farm, hoping for yams this time. He beat the drum, but a wild wall of wind swept him up and tossed him into a thorn bush. By the time he crawled out, his shell was scratched and his pride bruised. That was when he remembered the spirit warning the drum knew his heart. Limping and humbled, Tortoise continued until he reached the village. Everyone gathered around him the moment he returned. He placed the drum in the village square, closed his eyes, and for the first time during the journey, he thought not of rewards or praise but of the suffering of his people. He wished for healing rain with a sincere heart. Gently, he beat the drum. Almost instantly, the sky darkened, a cool breeze swept through the village, and thick clouds gathered overhead. Then the rain came soft at first, then heavy and plentiful, washing over the dry earth, filling the wells, and reviving the farms. The villagers danced and sang, celebrating the life-giving water pouring from the heavens. Tortoise was praised, but he had learned his lesson. From that day forward, he understood that trickery might bring quick results, but only sincerity and a pure heart bring true blessings. And so the village remembered the wisdom of that day, and Tortoise, for once, behaved himself at least for a little while.